right, welcome back to another episode of La Cocina podcast. I am your girl, Danny Ray, and we are ready to get back popping. All right, we do this every episode, Michael Miguel. So we gotta real quick. We're gonna pop our backs real quick. It takes the nerves out. All right, cool. All right, so on this show, okay, it's been a while, but we discuss topics with love, humor, and no judgment. And what better way than to have singer, songwriter, dancer, actor. I mean, the list goes on. Michael Miguel, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Danny. I'm so excited to be here.
I appreciate you. Now, Michael Miguel is from New York City, but he's really bi-coastal at this point, right? I would say. So name the few places that you've been thus far and what you've been working on, really.
Yeah, I was born in New York, raised in Jersey. I lived in Miami for 5 years, and I'm back in New York, but I fly to LA to make music, to work with my producer.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just fly wherever I'm needed. In Miami, sometimes I go over there to film some music videos, TV shows.
Yeah, so. Absolutely. You have a lot going on, and it's super exciting. And before we get into your music that you're here to promote, which is The Deal, the EP that drops back in November of 2020, we're going to be getting into that. We're going to be getting into what you have going on in terms of now you're going to be contracting to do music for a movie, which is super exciting. So we're going to get into that. But I want to talk to you about your story first and foremost, because I found that to be super intriguing. So talk to us a little bit about yourself, first and foremost, what your background is, because I think it's super interesting.
Yeah, well, I kind of grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. So some consider it a cult. It was just I'm very grateful for it. I've learned a lot to be a good person, I guess, from it. But it was kind of restrictive in the way that I wasn't really allowed to pursue, like you said, singing, dancing, or acting professionally. It's kind of frowned upon.
Right.
And so, but I've always wanted to since I was little. So it was, I'm really grateful for everything that I've learned. But yeah, I finally, I decided this is what I want to do. I knew this since I was little. And, I decided to start pursuing it. Once I got out of that religion, I started, becoming my own person.
So talk to us about that story. I mean, as much as you feel comfortable with discussing, because I know that you mentioned that at 19 you were out of the house.
Yeah.
So maybe you could talk to us a little bit about that experience.
Yeah, I was, 19 years old, and it came out that I was gay.
Yeah.
And so, it was tough. I had to leave home, and in a city that I didn't know. And as a Jehovah's Witness, you're only allowed to have friends that are within the community of Jehovah's Witnesses. So, we had just moved to Miami, so I didn't really have anyone. And I had to start from scratch. And, it was tough. It was tough being in that. It was great, but it was tough because being in that community, Miami is a very transactional city, and it's very touristic. So I was just very lonely, and I really wanted a family, and I really wanted to belong somewhere. And I had a lost case of identity too, and so I didn't even know who I was without this religion, without my family, without all those friends, because one day to another they just stopped talking to me.
Right.
And it's nothing on them. I know it's these are beliefs that are built into you, and I was raised in it, so I understood it at the time. Of course. So I don't judge them, but I understand it. But yeah, it's painful, and I was just kind of just jumping from place to place, from people to people, just trying to find a home, and but. Luckily, with years and therapy and love, I feel like I found my community, and I found a group of friends that today I call my family.
Yeah.
So.
And let's get into that, because your friends that have become family have also been the catalyst for you getting into music.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that story.
Yeah. So I have an amazing friend, Rick Wellman. Yes. If you're listening, he's a celebrity hairstylist. He's very humble. He won't say that, but he is. And he works at the Salon Project with Joel Warren, who's also very amazing.
Yes.
And a dear friend. And yeah, we went on vacation, and we stumbled upon a piano bar. And I was like, this was like 2 years ago. We stumbled upon a piano bar, and I was like, you know what? I think I want to sing. And he's like, okay. Because, I guess he's never really heard me sing. Yeah. And then I went up there, and I sang All of Me by John Legend. Yeah. And it was such a beautiful moment, because this is something that I used to do in the shower. So finally people are listening to me. So I sang, had my eyes closed, and then when I opened my eyes at the very end, everyone just started clapping. And just my friend Rick Wellman comes up to me crying and tears in his eyes. He's like, Miguel, you need to do this. Yeah. Like, this is what you need to do. Like, you were made for this. And I was like, you know what? Like, this is what I want to do. And then to my surprise, the people there that were singing at this piano bar was a Broadway cast, and they had just finished a show. So they had just finished a show, so they were just celebrating, and they all came up to me like, what show are you on? Are you an actor? Are you a singer? Like, you're amazing. And I was like, no, I've never done this before, but I want to. And they're like,
Yeah.
okay, well, like, what are you going to do about it? And I was like, I'm going to do it. So, yeah, then I went home and I decided that from that day on, this is what I want to pursue. This is my dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talk to us about that time, because it was at that moment and shortly thereafter where you kind of locked yourself in your room and you started writing.
Yeah, that was cool. So, yeah, so that happened right before quarantine. So, even before quarantine,
Yeah.
I got on a show called Footloose,
Mm-hmm.
the musical, and I got the lead. That was my first audition to anything ever.
And
that,
you get the lead.
and I got I didn't think I was gonna, it was so much fun. I didn't think I was going to like theater because it's theater, but theater was great. It was
Yeah.
amazing. You have to be so present. And yeah, and I got the lead, and that was just, I'm so grateful, and I feel so blessed for the people I got to work with, and, singing in front of people listening to me, and, me telling a story, and a story that's so close to me, because the story in Footloose is, Ren, who's the lead,
Yeah.
moves to this place where people are not allowed to dance or sing.
Yeah.
And
That's you.
yeah, and so he like convinces all these town folks to like start dancing, that it's not bad and that this is okay. And it's so it was super personal. And then from there, like you mentioned, quarantine happened. I had an audition for Hamilton, and then everything got locked down.
Yeah.
And then so I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna stop. I want to do something. So I bought myself a really nice Newman mic. I downloaded Logic Pro, and I was like, I'm gonna write music. So like you said, I locked myself in a room, and then I wrote 20 songs in like 60 days.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy, yeah.
That is crazy. So, like, all right, take me through your process. Before you even take me through your process of songwriting, because I'm just thinking about this. You've been singing since you were young, but you just started writing up until 2 years ago, or were you writing and then stopped, but then now you're like, this is it, this is what I want to do and start writing? Like, was there ever a point where you were songwriting before this, or no, this is just your first shot out?
So it's crazy because it's like memories start coming back.
Yeah.
And also because I had to kind of like hide those things or forget about them because, we can't pursue that as a career.
Right.
So it's funny because when I'm writing, I'm like, oh my God, I remember writing a song when I was 9 years old to this girl named Reed. And like,
Really?
I remember I had a notebook and I would write music. When I was even younger than that, I remember like writing music. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I kind of put it in like a very dark corner in my mind. And so it's fun to like open these things up. And one of the songs, I wrote a song when I was 19. Mm-hmm. And that song I've been holding on to. It's a great song, but now at 26,
Yeah.
I'm like, all this stuff, all this like backed up data that I had stored, it's like coming to light.
It's ready.
Yeah. So it's weird. It almost, I knew it, but I didn't know it at the same time. I'm very grateful that it just kind of came to light that, like, yeah, this is my passion. This is my dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's dope. So take me to now where you realized, okay, here are the 20 songs, but then you broke them down obviously to 4, which is where we have the 11 p.m. EP.
Yeah.
So talk to us about how you narrowed down
Oof.
all of those to just these.
So I worked with a producer in LA. His name is Monster. Shout out Monster. He's amazing. He's great. And originally I had this song called Boys and Barbies. I have this song called Boys and Barbies.
Yeah.
And I wrote it like a year before I decided I wanted to pursue singing.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. And I wrote this song. It was very personal. It's about, my life and about me coming out and me being who I need to be or who I am. And anyways, I brought it to him. And it was funny because I didn't know which song, but this song, I showed it to him. And he's like, this is a song we need to record. We need to record this right now.
Yeah.
And so then we did. And because it's so meaningful, and it's a beautiful song. And so that was the first one.
Would you mind sharing with them the story that you shared with me about the cover art for Boys and Barbies?
Oh, yeah. That's a fantastic.
I love that story.
It's a crazy story. Okay, so growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, we're not really allowed to celebrate birthdays or celebrate really much anything.
Right.
And so yeah, some lady like threw a party for all of us kids with all these presents. And like we would all run up and open a present. So I opened my present and it's a Selena Quintanilla Barbie doll.
Yeah.
Mind the fact, this was like my movie growing up.
Yeah.
The movie came out when I was 3 years old, and people used to call me Bidi Bidi Bum Bum because I would, oh my God, I would grab my shirt and I would wrap it, and I would hold like a comb and I would sing in front of my parents. They didn't like enjoy it as much as I did.
Of course.
Yeah.
Naturally.
But I loved it, and I loved her and her voice. It was so powerful. So anyways, I find this Barbie doll,
Yeah.
Selena, and she's mine. Like, this was my Barbie doll.
It's just crazy that of all the things to pick up, you ends up gravitating to that box, and it has the Barbie.
And it has the Barbie that's my idol at 3 years old,
Yeah.
which is crazy. And then, you know, in the picture that I use for Boys and Barbies, it's actually a picture of me with the Selena Barbie doll.
Yeah,
which
we're gonna show them a clip of that.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that you use that as the cover art because it's just so authentic to your story and to who you are and to what happened, and I love it.
Oh, thank you. I love you, so.
Let's get into the rest of the. I love you. Let's get into the rest of the EP, right? So, 11 p.m.
Yeah.
Smooth type of vibe, but such a heartbreaking song. It's just like you feel that in your gut. So, talk to us about your inspiration behind 11 p.m.
So, 11 p.m. was the last song I think that I put onto the album. And I have a vocal coach. Her name is Linda Glick. She's amazing. Shout out to her as well. She's an amazing actress too. And she's like, you need an 11 o'clock song on your EP. And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, all these songs are great, but you need something to showcase your voice because you can sing.
Yeah.
And so you need something where you're belting and you're blah, 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 and you're doing your falsetto. And I was like, okay, done. And so then I wrote 11 p.m. to like 11 o'clock, 11 p.m.
Yeah,
and then I just heard this song, and then the words just kind of came to me, and then I just, you know, imagined the first time I ever got cheated on and kind of what I wish I would have said instead of what actually transpired and what actually happened, you know, because the truth is, you know, my first time that I got cheated, I forgave, and I just kind of kept repeating the cycle.
Right.
And, you know, everyone has their own story and journey, and that's okay. But I wish I would have, you know, who I am today, I don't want to allow that for myself anymore, to like allow things to keep happening. So in this song, it's almost like a redo with that situation, and just like, no, like I'm tired of this story. Like it's 11 p.m. and the Uber's on its way. So,
And you
like,
gotta go.
And you gotta go.
Because you weren't where you said you were gonna be.
No, and I'm not leaving, you're leaving.
Bye.
Like that's not how this is working anymore. Like, no. Yeah, I love myself today, so. Yeah.
Yes, I love that. All right, so now, but then you have other tracks, right? These other tracks is just like, okay, okay, Mr. Michael Miguel, that's how you feel, like The Deal.
The Deal, yeah,
The Deal is a very fun record. It's a bop, but the message is like, it's take it or leave it. This is what it is.
It's very provocative. Yeah, for sure. It's yeah, it was very fun. So, you know, I'm a storyteller.
Yeah.
I really feel that. Like sometimes I write from different perspectives. And like, to be honest, where I was at the time was I had just gotten out of a breakup.
Yeah.
I'm focused on my career. I'm focusing on pursuing my dreams. And like, I feel like there's no need to shame people for being sexual or for being open or for being human. Do you know what I mean? So the deal is just like, hey, like I'm being very direct. Like I'm not looking for anything serious right now. And then it gets also to be playful because I am not that like, I mean, the music video is crazy. Like that's not really me. But like I said, it's a story. It's something fun to play with. And it's an alter personality.
And you choreographed it, which is dope.
I choreographed some of it. I also had a choreographer who did like most of it. And he's amazing. His name is Marlon Davila. Like I had like little things. I'm like, I want to do this. So I just want to give him credit because he's amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're going to show them a snippet of The Deal so they can take a look at that.
Alma gemela no busco, no busco ningún camino con orgullo. Lo único que quiero es cararte de los pelos, despedirme sin ningún goodbye. Bye, bye, bye.
So let's get into no, I can't get into that record because that record's not released.
Well, we could talk about it.
We can.
Okay, yeah, we can talk about it. Yeah.
So let's talk about Chuku Chuku.
Oh, Chuku Chuku.
Yeah.
Oh, they were gonna talk about the other one. Okay.
Well, no, because we're following up with The Deal, and I feel like that is the follow up.
Yeah. Chuku Chuku. That's a very, very sensual song.
Yeah.
So that's a cool story. I was talking to this producer who's really cool, and he's currently working with J Balvin.
Yeah.
And so we were supposed to meet into the studio, and he's like, hey, like, I'm gonna meet with J Balvin, write a song for him, and let's show it to him. And you know, because of COVID and everything, everyone wasn't able to meet up. But I still had the song, so I was like, I love the song so much. I just produced it on my own, and now I have it, and it's called Chuku. I haven't released it yet.
Yeah.
I'm like holding on to it. I'm waiting for the right moment because I have all this other stuff happening. But it's it's so fun. It's also another song like The Deal. Also, it's a different perspective because I'm talking about a girl in the song.
Yes.
You know, and so like I said, I'm a storyteller.
Yeah.
So it's almost like he's narrating what's happening.
Yeah, I
makes sense.
love that about you, and the fact that you say that in in your interviews, and you say that in your, like, you are a songwriter. You're writing stories about, sometimes it's about you, sometimes it's about other people, sometimes it's not relational to anything that's going on with you personally, but you just take the narrative and go with it. And I think that's dope. That's really what artistry is supposed to be. I know that you haven't dropped this record, and I know we're kind of scaling off the
No,
EP
it's
a
okay.
second for this, but I do want to mention the other record that you have in the stash, which is Burglar on the Roof. It's another one that we were playing earlier where the cameras are off, and I love that record.
Oh,
So
thank
talk
you.
to us a little bit about Burglar on the Roof.
Burglar on the. It makes me like. Can you see like how
Yeah,
much I'm
I know you-
smiling?
yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's my heartbreaking record. That song was the first song I recorded in my room, and yeah, I mean, I would love to give a little bit more about it. It's about loss.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
I mean, because I want people to interpret it the way they want to.
Of course, yeah.
But it's about losing someone, and all the things I wish I could have said, and the things. It's like a letter to someone that I really lost and that I love, and it's influenced by like Lauryn Hill kind of vibe where there's vocals and then there's a little bit of hip hop and rap in it, like a sing kind of rap. I love that song. It's my love letter.
Yeah. Let me ask you this: do you find that in your music, you're able to, and I feel like with just the questions that you've answered, it has to be yes. Like you're able to express all of the things that you normally wouldn't say in your day to day in your music. Would you say that that's an accurate statement?
I think there's like, yeah. I mean, I like to think of myself as a direct person and like an honest person. I mean, everyone lies, but I like to be very honest.
Yeah.
But for sure.
But I mean the vulnerability aspect, not honesty, but I'm saying the
For sure.
vulnerability, like the things that are deep down.
Yeah, it gives me an avenue and permission to like explore those memories, because those memories are painful. I have painful memories. I mean, there's also beautiful memories that I like to relive.
Right.
But like to dive into a painful memory and to like make amends to someone or to something, and like to do it in such a therapeutic and a loving way, I think it's I'm very grateful to have this avenue, and for God, like I just said God, I mean a higher power of my understanding or whatever that is,
Yeah.
that allows me to do this and to pursue my dreams and to be able to reconnect with things that I've lost. It's so cool. It's so amazing. And
Yeah.
that's like what it's about, right? I don't know.
Absolutely. That's entirely what it's about. So now with that, right? Let's get back into the EP again.
Okay.
And let's discuss Rhythm and Flow. Because Rhythm and Flow is such a fun song for me. Like I just like it's you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a vibe.
It gives you that pep in your step and you're getting ready for the day, and that's what I was doing listening to it. So but talk to me about Rhythm and Flow and what it was you wanted to really get out of creating a record like that.
Rhythm and Flow was so much fun. Like I was recording it in my room, just the skeleton, and I was like I'm dancing to this. Like this is making me want to dance, and it's cool. So everything kind of ties back to a story. So that specific song was because I go by Miguel, right?
Yeah.
I grew up as Michael, as a Jehovah's Witness. When I left at 19, I changed my name to Miguel. Because to like separate the two people, to allow myself to become who I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And Miguel is just very passionate, very like outspoken, and like, you know, he's not afraid to live life. And then Michael's more conservative, he's more reserved, he's more shy, he's more timid. He follows more the rules. And so with time, I've learned to become both. So the song is really cool because the song is Miguel talking to Michael and tell him, hey, like let loose and let go, you know, to the rhythm and the flow. And like, listen, like life can be fun.
Yeah.
Just listen to me, like listen to your body and just allow yourself to enjoy. And that's kind of what that song is about. It's like to anyone who feels confined or anything, it's okay to sometimes let loose and just have fun and have a drink, or, you know, if you don't drink, just have a good time and, you know, dance.
Enjoy life.
And enjoy life in any way that is, that makes you happy or makes you smile.
See, I love that because, and a lot of the reason why I have you here as well, and not many people know this, I'm recording the topics we're talking about prior somewhere else, but I'm tying this back in because I feel that way that you do, in the sense that I'm Danielle Renee, and then I'm also Danny Ray.
Yeah.
And Danny Ray is a totally different person. Danny Ray is everything that Danielle isn't, and vice versa. So I understand that, and I love the fact that you're able to address that and then speak to both versions of yourself, or use one version to speak to the other. I think that's really cool. So Rhythm and Flow, Boys and Barbies, both songs
Yeah.
that are currently being picked up for a movie.
Yeah.
Super exciting. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, I'm like excited. Yeah, they both got picked up to be in a feature film called Lost and Found.
Yeah.
It hasn't been released yet. We're pre-production. David Beck, who's an amazing screenwriter and amazing director, shout out to David, is producing and making this movie. And he reached out to me. Actually, it was really cool. It was when I released Boys and Barbies.
Yeah.
And he's like, Miguel, I love this song. Did you write it? Do you write other music? And I was like, yeah. He's like, how would you like to be a part of creating this soundtrack for this film? And I was like, of course, yeah, let's do it. Like, that's great. You know, we just had a meeting like 2 days ago, and we solidified everything. So, yeah. So Rhythm and Flow is definitely going to be in it. Boys and Barbies is going to be in it because it takes place in Spanish Harlem.
Okay.
And it's a fantastic movie. It's about a transgender woman who's transitioning.
Right.
And she works at a school. She's a teacher. And she gets fired because it's a private school, a private Catholic school. And she's, considering suicide. And this little girl shows up at her doorstep and knocks on her door and saves her life.
Wow.
And it kind of takes on from there. And it's a really cool song about being yourself and, about love. I'm super grateful to be a part of it. I was offered a role in it as well, so I'm gonna be starring in the movie.
That's dope.
Yeah. I'm gonna be like what's that called? A supporting actor or supporting character. So I'm excited.
Really
It's gonna be
cool.
fun. Yeah.
That's really cool. So now, Art, what are some other things that you have in the chamber and in the stash that you're getting ready to work on? I know that there's some visuals that you're going to be going to Puerto Rico for, so let's talk about that.
Yeah. So I'm gonna be going to Puerto Rico, probably in early March. We just gotta make sure everyone gets tested and make sure everyone's safe before we go.
Yeah.
And then while we're there, but we're gonna record Rhythm and Flow, and then have some interviews lined up to promote that song and the music video. It's really cool. The director that directed The Deal,
Yeah.
which is doing great, and he's amazing. He's so talented. Wants to do Rhythm and Flow as well. So we're going together and we're gonna film it. And it's gonna be so much fun. It's so exciting. I have family over there. I haven't even been to Puerto Rico yet, so I'm excited to explore that side of my heritage.
Yeah, that's going to be so exciting. All right, so now, here's the thing, right? On every episode of La Cocina podcast, and I know we're not in a cocina, and I know everybody's going to be like, well, what? There's no cocina here. Hey, listen, we serve food for thought, all right? With love, humor, no judgment. That's what it is. And because I'm working on my home studio at home, shout outs to my brothers from Thorough ENT. They held me down, both behind the camera and on set, so I appreciate that. But every episode, I ask whoever I'm interviewing what their special ingredient is. What is there something that they use in their recipe of life that they can offer to somebody else who's maybe pursuing something that you're pursuing or something similar?
Okay. Yeah.
I know it's a very loaded question, but
It's a fantastic question. I love that question. I mean, if you haven't noticed, I talk a lot about love
yeah.
in general. And I think love has become my higher power. Has become my higher power. It means a lot to me. I trust love. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
The religious and my upbringing, the whole term God sometimes doesn't work as well as I want it to.
Yeah.
But yeah, love. Everything I do, I pray. Like I do like a meditation, or I say something like, let this be out of love. Let it be received with love.
Yeah.
Let me listen with love. And then I just try to take it from there. And it's so weird, but when that happens, I feel comfortable enough to let things go. Because I sometimes like to control things and be a control freak and a perfectionist. Yeah. But when I, let it go to this higher power that I've created or that I have allowed myself to connect to,
Yeah.
it feels easier. And like, I'm not saying that, everyone's higher power has to be love. It can be whatever you want it to be, but just make sure, as long as it's bigger than me or bigger than yourself, that's what I would suggest. For me, it has to be bigger than me. It can't just be my story. It can't just be, my music, or it can't be, like, it's bigger than me. It's about uniting people and, bringing more light into this world. Because this world can be really dark, as we can see,
Yeah.
So as long as, it's pushing to something greater, whatever you want that to be, because it doesn't have to be light, it doesn't have to be love. But as long as it's bigger than you, I think that's powerful, and that connects, us together. So that's what I reach for. I try to reach for that.
I love it. I love it. I think that's great. So now, would you mind sharing some of your vocals with us?
Okay, yeah, sure, why not?
Let's get into it.
Worries. Yeah. Michael Miguel. Ooh, oh.
things I shouldn't feel, things I shouldn't be, things I shouldn't see, things I shouldn't dream. Take away the things I shouldn't be. Separate the boys from the Barbies. I'm too young to feel this type of way. Father, please don't you walk away. Mama, pray I might get away. Sit me down and set me straight. And there's no one for me. No, sorry. I just wanna play with boys and Barbie. And there's no hope for me. I'm who I'm gonna be. I just wanna play with boys and Barbie. Boys and Barbie. Boys and Barbie. Now makeup is my new base. And pride is on my face. Eyeliner that never fades. Colors that won't be erased. You see it on my face. I see it in the mirror. I see it clearer and clearer. You see it on my face. I see it in the mirror. I see it clearer and clearer. And there's no one for me. No, sorry. No, I'm sorry. I just wanna play with boys and Barbies. And there's no hope for me. I'm who I'm gonna be. I just wanna play. I just wanna play with boys and Barbies. 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 Yeah. Oh, Barbies.
Yes, yes, Michael Miguel. Now listen, if you guys have not followed him as of yet, I don't know what you're waiting for, but please plug yourself in. Let the people know where they can follow you, where they can find your music, where they can support you.
Yeah, so you can find me at AKA Michael Miguel on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. My name is Michael Miguel on Apple Music, Spotify, all of it, Amazon Music.
Yes.
Yeah, check it out. It's really good stuff. It's made with a lot of hard work and some amazing people. So, yeah.
Check out 11 p.m., the EP, and check out all of the music that he has going on. And we thank you so much for coming through and for talking to us. And I appreciate you, Michael Miguel.
Yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity and for putting me on the spot. That was fun. Yeah.
Listen, you never know what goes down in La Cocina. Just be like that sometimes, okay?
No, I love it.
But listen, thank you guys so much for checking us out here at La Cocina Podcast. I'm your girl, Danny Ray. Keep it locked. Stay tuned. We got more for you. And again, shout outs to Thorough ENT, Biggs, and Joey for hooking us up here. Till next time, mi gente, we out. Peace.
Let's go.